Scorpio. My name's Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you about somebody who has been in this Eight of Swords energy, feeling stuck. Maybe you haven't actually been tied up by a barn or a ball of yarn, but you have felt like there weren't a lot of options or that there were issues that blocked your success or the path that you were meant to be on. And now it's like there's a new door opening up for you, a path that seems to make more sense or helps you to see a way around whatever has kept you feeling kind of stuck. Hello, Carrie, how are you? Let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box for you, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. And if you are in the stars or the towers, we have a members only live stream at 5 p.m. Central today. Hope to see you there. Hello, Famous Seamus. Hello, Key Controller. How we doing? I'm glad to hear that, Carrie. We're going to start with, we're going to go with the OG. This is the Waite-Smith. All right. What else do we have? King of Cups. Seven of Wands in the reverse. And the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. So this feels to me like a beginning that you were hopeful about did not turn out the way that you thought, or something that you invested in, you've decided is not necessarily a good thing, and this is what has made you feel stuck. You might have moved somewhere and felt like, maybe this isn't the right place. You might have gotten married and felt like it was the relationship of a lifetime until it wasn't. But we have this Page of Pentacles in the reverse where it was like, I know I'm not where I want to be, but I also don't feel like I can invest in something new. I feel like I have to clean this up first before I can actually pursue something else, right? Hello, Ruhio. Thank you, Christopher. Hello, Tiana. How are we doing? Excuse me. What else do we have? Two of Cups in the reverse. Five of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Two of Wands in the reverse. Okay. So this feels to me like we've got someone who had a failed relationship impact multiple areas of their life. So I realize that I'm dating someone that I shouldn't be, maybe, living with them as well. And so there's multiple things that I have to do in order to like extricate myself from that relationship, or in order to be able to start a new relation or a new situation elsewhere, right? Ideally, something that allows for some time for you to be single and heal, right? Two Cups in the reverse is the breakup. Five of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Two of Wands in the reverse. I feel like there is an unexpected, like maybe it's just kindness that somebody shows you. Hey, if you need a place to crash for a couple weeks while you figure things out, you can count on me. Maybe it's, hey, this thing is exactly what I've been looking for. Can I buy it from you? Maybe it's a promotion. But I do feel like there's something that happens in a positive way to make it easier for you to make this change or have some independence. Another Fool card. Ace of Swords and the Fool. So in order to embolden someone to start this new chapter, or perhaps even to finalize the breakup with this person they know they shouldn't be dating, we have this King of Cups choosing a new future. And because they communicate that, or because they're being honest about it and not staying in that situation, they're choosing the more difficult path. Then the universe is like, okay, let's make this a little easier on you. You're worried about finances, so let's make sure you get that tax return really quickly. Or let's make sure that, you end up getting like a free month of rent or something. Oh, thanks, Christopher. Hello, H. Leezy. What's up? For money. I do have an ASMR channel linked in the description box, Ren, and that is me reading from books or reading poetry, and there's no advertisements. So, yeah. Hey, thank you, Rain. Are you worried about the thinness of yours? Hello, country. How are you doing? Hello, Danny. Hello, Jennifer. Oh, I'm sorry it's not for you, but I still wish that you have a wonderful day and that you find a channel more your pace. Hello, James. How are you doing? 3 of Cups and the Devil. Yeah, I feel like we've got someone who realized they were in a relationship with somebody that was codependent or obsessive, maybe even possessive. So it's like, yeah, I can't really mess around with this. I have to be intelligent or strategic, make sure that, you know, minimize the fallout, basically. Hello, April. How are you doing? Thank you, Lee. I hope your day's going well. Of course. Hello, Chris. How are you doing? 3 of Pentacles. Judgment. And the 5 of Pentacles. So whatever decision you had to make, probably it's regarding a long-term relationship or, you know, living situation. The decision that you made regarding, you know, going off on your own was one that you just kind of accepted, like, this is going to make things more difficult for me financially. I'm going to have to pay my own way, or I'm going to have to start paying for this, or I'm going to have to start taking out the trash. It's, yeah, it's going to have to be all me. But the benefit of that is then I don't feel like I'm stuck somewhere where I'm not supposed to be, right? Oh, did you miss me saying hello to you, April? I said hello to you right before I said thank you to Lee. But I hope you're having a good day. I hope you feel better soon. 4 of Wands. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like this is a relationship with someone and you were living with them. This could be about someone that you're connected to, but this is a person who realized I can't be in this relationship anymore. This is not something I can continue to invest in, and I really don't want to try to start something new or like cheat, find, you know, a third party. This is someone who's saying it's going to be a little bit frustrating or disruptive, but I'm going to have to like find my own place. I'm going to have to, you know, probably adjust the budget a little bit, but this is something I have to do. So the universe is like, okay, well, since you decided to make the right decision, even though it was not easy, we're going to fill the coffers for you. We're going to make it easier for you financially. 9 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Okay, sign me up. 9 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles both have meanings that are associated with financial independence or security. Someone who could be an expert in their field or someone who's really good at money management, but also someone who listens to their intuition. So the universe is saying, basically, job well done. Here's a little paycheck to say good work. Hello, Delinia. How are you doing? We've got the Ace of Cups and the King of Swords in the reverse. 10 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, so it looks like you were dating a King of Swords in the reverse. Does not have to be a man, and the King of Pentacles that I was just referring to does not have to be a man. We know that because the King of Pentacles is the same energy as the Nine of Pentacles, which is a woman. This is just basically saying that we've got someone who is trying to do right by their relationship with a person that they were living with. But when they realized that something was probably just going to repeat, or there was going to be an issue due to some dishonesty, they decided, okay, I guess I have to walk away. Originally came through as the King of Cups, by the way. So if you want to know astrological signs associated, that would be Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. That doesn't mean you have to fall into one of those, but I do feel like we have an emotionally mature individual who's listening to their intuition and deciding to start over or end a relationship because they're with someone who is not taking the relationship seriously. Eight of Cups, Five of Cups. This Queen of Pentacles in the reverse is the ex. And they're in a world of regret because they didn't think there was going to be consequences for their actions or for what they said or for what they didn't do. Maybe they thought you were just going to say a few stern words or, you know, show a pouty face. But instead you looked at it as, I guess, like, this is it, right? Like, I did everything I could. If you don't want to actually work with me on the relationship, then I have to get, you know, honest with myself about where I want to be in 2 years or 5 years. And it's not, you know, trying to convince you to pull your own weight. That sounds exhausting. Strength, Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Knight of Wands. So even though it means I have to do more work, or even though it means I have to, you know, pack up all of my things and maybe even risk a few friendships because it's never really obvious how things are going to be impacted, this King of Cups, King of Pentacles is deciding I've got to leave this relationship. All right, let's get a few from the Earth and Bones Oracle. Yeah, I mean, this could be something that is applying to you in a couple of weeks. This is definitely got a sense of urgency, though. Just feeling like if I stay here too long, I'll get stuck or feel more stuck. Prudence, number 30. Self-assurance, honesty, integrity, perceptiveness, and clear-mindedness. The thing is, the King of Cups is making this decision with a clear mind, and I do feel like they have reason to believe what they believe. Charity, generosity, sharing, support, nest. This is about the living situation. So if what I believe is true about the relationship, and if I feel I need to leave, then where do I want to go, or where am I going to go after I walk out? You know, where am I going to sleep that night? Flow, recovery, moving on, and finding peace. I do feel like there's someone who wants to help you and appreciates that you are making a change for your life that is for the better. Sage, harmony, and acceptance, calm, serenity, and patience. Sometimes you spend so much effort and energy trying to contemplate and figure out the person that you're dating that it feels like a giant sense of relief to make the decision and to no longer have to process it, right? Like, I just know what I know and it's not going to work. So instead of wasting all of my thinking power on the same thing, regurgitating it, I'm going to use that to make decisions regarding where I want to be in 3 weeks. Where do I want to be in 3 months? Because if it's not here, then I have some work to do, right? So we might have some like research going on. Oops. You know, looking up apartments or houses or jobs, talking to friends or family about where they could potentially go, but probably not everyone, right? Oh, I hope that goes well for you, April. I can't blame you for that, Carrie. We've got someone who's decided to move out. I think it's just been kind of clarifying what you had already heard at the beginning, but yeah, we have someone who realizes it's going to be difficult, but it's worth it. We have plugged, tuned in, internet, and connected. So this is probably tied to the research, right? So I know that things need to change. I know that this relationship is emotionally over for me. So I need to plan, where am I going to spend that first night? Or can I crash with a friend? Will I still be able to get to work the next day? That kind of thing. We've got planning going. And contemplation around how to actually have the conversation that ends the relationship. How much do I have to actually say? Do I write it in a letter? Do I say it to their face? Do I just text it to them? What can I do to communicate that the relationship is over while ensuring that there is security or safety, right? But also feeling good about what I actually stated was the reason. You know, it's like I want to make sure that there's some way to like benefit from this relationship or learn from this relationship, but I'm also not interested in getting into some like 2 hour long shouting match over whether or not you're a liar. You know? Agree to disagree. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Pomegranate. How are you doing? Hello, Angel. What's up? I hope work goes well for you, Tiana. So we have Archangel Michael, protection, prevented from harm, divine intervention, family, blood ties, inner circle, and nightlife, gamble, take a risk, and Vegas. I'm not gonna lie, there's some possessive, angry energy coming through that makes me feel like it's possible we've got friends or family that are genuinely concerned for your safety and want to make sure that if you are ending this relationship that you are able to get where you need to be and get set up to live for the next couple weeks or months or whatever without it being too much of a risk. But I do think you acknowledge that there's a need for someone to help you move your stuff, or maybe that intermediate, like, can I stay on your couch kind of thing. Hello, Mr. Is it Mr. Maria? Maria Martha, how are you doing? Lockbox, closed in, trapped, frustrated. This is like that first card we got, the Eight of Swords. When you feel like you're in a relationship and it's not the right situation, it can feel a bit stifling. Maybe you even deal with some nausea or headaches or sleeplessness. But we've got someone who is ready to make a change. I really think there's a friend or family member who's like, I'll grab my truck, I'll help you move all the stuff, and you can crash on my couch. Tell me what time works best for you, and I'll make sure that I'm there. There's someone who's looking out for you here. Even if it's as simple as, I've got a vehicle that can help you move your couch, you know? All right, this is the Nightmare Before Christmas. Hello, Rachel. It is indeed. We are almost 19 minutes in. Hello, Adam. How are you doing? Five of Needles or Five of Swords. The Sun in the reverse. And the Emperor. Yeah, I do think that you're dealing with a person who, if they found out you were planning on leaving, would try to find a way to ruin things. Maybe like make it difficult for you to take your dog, or maybe, you know, take your golf clubs or your makeup. Like, what can I do to spoil your little plan here? Because I don't necessarily like that you think you can just like end the relationship without, you know, a 2 hour long argument, you know? This is someone who feels like they can control the situation or that they can control you specifically. Dr. Pepper. What else? Ace of Potions in the reverse, which is the Ace of Cups. The Nine of Candles or Nine of Wands. And the Queen of Swords. The King and Queen of Swords, by the way, are the exes of the divine counterparts. Now, does that mean if you and your person are both air signs and you're madly in love that you're destined to break up with each other? No. It just means if we're talking about someone who is less emotional and more logical about a situation or a connection, it's going to be the air signs. And so we've got the King of Swords in the reverse for the ex that is being left, and the Queen of Swords as the person who is walking away, also known as the King of Cups. See where we don't pay too close attention to the gender. The Queen of Swords, though, is pretty famous for boundaries, pretty famous for being able to say, nope, I don't think that's what I want, or I know what's going on here, and here's how I feel it needs to go. There's an absence of love, or someone has fallen out of love. There is a desire to protect one's assets or the things they own, make sure that, you know, their clothes get packed up all right. Don't want any like kind of petty drama, right? But it also feels like we've got someone who's just kind of like done talking. Like, I've said everything a million times. You know what makes me mad. You know why I'm irritated. Do I really need to say it's because you've never done anything to fix the thing that I told you I was mad about like 18 different times? So if I told you, you know, 20 times before that I was eventually going to leave you if you don't pick up your socks every night, and you continue to leave your socks on the floor, like, do I really need to get a megaphone and be like, hey, just so you know, if you leave those socks there again, I'm really leaving. I warned you. Apparently, yes. Hello, Sophia. How are you doing? Hello, Chris. I hope you're having a good day. Oh, you be okay, Tiana. I'm sure you're running around somebody's mind. What else? Three of Potions. Oh, really? The Knight of Needles or Knight of Swords and the Judgment card in the reverse. Some of you found out that this person lied to you about what they were doing or where they were, who they were with. And some of you outright found evidence like a dating app or something that suggested infidelity. It's like varying levels of dishonesty. And your thoughts are, if you're going to just try to like breadcrumb the truth or manipulate the story, then what trust do I really have in you? Oh, okay, so you give me part of the truth, and then when you realize that I know more of it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's true, I can confirm that. I don't need your confirmation, I already know it. Like, it's exhausting to try to have substantive conversations with a person who doesn't realize that integrity and honesty are very important pillars of a relationship. So we have the Six of Presents or the Six of Pentacles, the World, and the Nine of Potions in the reverse, which is the Nine of Cups in the reverse. It is what it is. Maybe you loved this person at one time. Maybe you were very, very excited to marry them or move in with them or call them yours. And at this point, your hope of their being able to pull their own weight or be a true partner to you seems to have evaporated. It's like a dream that doesn't seem real to you anymore. So you're looking at it as, okay, so if this is as much as you can do to try to work through the issues that we have, then it would appear that we're just going to have to either always accept these issues or I have to end the relationship. It's like you forced my hand. You didn't want to do anything, even though we communicated about this. you keep doing the same thing or you keep lying, then, you know, how many times is that going to work out? Yep, I hear ya. Hello, Third Eye. How are you doing? Hello, Houdini. I hope you're okay. Who are you yelling at? Everything okay? So we've got the Knight of Candles or Knight of Wands in the reverse. And the Nine of Swords or Nine of Needles in the reverse. If you don't want to work with me to fix the problems in the relationship, then it is on me to fix the problems in my life, which are related to being in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to work on their problems. You know? Okay, then we're going to level it up to, you know, a different account level or a different, you know, it's a whole different umbrella to, I can't keep this relationship around if it's always going to be that grocery store cart with the squeaky wheel that, like, you know, doesn't stay level. I'm gonna go and get a different grocery cart. Or, you know, carry the Dr. Peppers that I have and leave after I pay. Oh, we have another third eye. What's up? All right, let's see what else we've got. I think we need an oracle deck, don't we? We're gonna go with the truth is. What else do we have? Divine timing. Everything will work when the universe sees fit. But the problem was you were dealing with a person who didn't want to be honest about lust and how it impacted your relationship. There might have been chemistry, physical chemistry between the two of you, but that emotional depth was lacking. And that makes a lot of sense if you think about it being a person who doesn't really want to work on the problems. That would require the emotional connection, right? Or support it. Hello, Martin. Are we flooding the live chat with my name? I mean, at least you're spelling it right, you know? So we have children. Children are involved or soon will be. We could have a person who has decided that the children they have with this King of Swords in the reverse deserve better. We could have somebody who has been waiting for their partner to get into a better situation or say that they were ready to start a family. And because that never seemed to be a real goal, now we have this Queen of Swords, King of Cups, leaving that relationship and saying, okay, well, then I guess I have to go to a different relationship because I still want to have that family, right? And if you're not ready and you don't know when you will be, then I guess this isn't the right match. So there was an effort to try to heal the wounds within the relationship first. And when there was a wall that you kept hitting in the relationship despite whatever efforts were made, there was an unwillingness to perhaps be fully honest or, you know, block that ex or change how they talk about you to your family. Whatever it was, they didn't change. It's got you to the point where you're like, yeah, that's just, it's like a deal breaker, you know? If that's not something that's important to you, then I don't really feel like I am important to you. Hello, James. How are you doing? All right, what else do we have? Dreams. There are things that you are meant to achieve. There are people you are meant to meet. There are things that you are supposed to enjoy. And this person kept you locked up and hidden away from those good things that were supposed to be a part of your life. If this is someone who doesn't support you financially, there are stresses that you are dealing with you shouldn't have to. this is someone who doesn't believe in your dreams or your goals, then they make it seem less likely you can actually achieve those things. There's, like, this person's just a giant roadblock. I hope they at least have good fashion. Knowledge. When you look at the relationship or the connection with a more analytical eye, or if you think about it as if this was someone else's relationship and they were my good friend and I was giving them advice, I would probably tell them to leave. So why am I still here? Why am I still dating this person? Rejuvenation. This is that Fool card, that ability to leave a feeling of being stuck or not liking where you're at and making the necessary changes so you can put that smile back on your face, or so you can, you know, walk away from the things that have made it seem like you can't be happy. This is the Gilded Reverie. What else do we have? We have the House, which is number 4, and the Tower, which is number 19. Both of them are buildings. That's interesting. So this is someone who's saying this house is not a home. It doesn't feel like a home because I don't feel like I can trust you. It feels more so like I have to watch what I say, or I have to keep track of records and make sure that everything lines up. It feels more like a job. It feels like I have to clean up after you, or it feels like I have to pay your part of the bills, or it feels like I have to check to make sure you brushed your teeth. Whatever this is, it's like it's not what I wanted. It's not what I signed up for. It feels like I have to do everything for you, or I have to do all the work in the relationship. Ooh, you lucky mofos. We got the Whip. The Fish and the Anchor. So if you are new to my channel, whenever this card comes out, and I think there are 4 of them because they're in the Lenormand decks, whenever this card comes out, I have to tell a joke or people will get mad at me. You can ask. Hello, MTM7. How are we doing? So here it is. Are you ready? The Whip. No, not the whip. The Whip. No, please, not the whip. The Whip. No, please, anything but the whip. Anything? The whip. All right. I feel like it's been a whole other couple weeks since the last time, but at least it wasn't as long as the last wait for that. So we've got the Whip, which is a card that talks about like punishment, basically. But it could also be a reference to somebody's preferences in the bedroom. And that could be associated with this person's inability to be honest, or perhaps, you know, promiscuity. But if you're looking to be in a committed relationship with somebody that you can trust, that's not exactly the type of person you're going to want to, you know, shack up with. I think we have a very strong physical attraction. I think there's probably some great times in the bedroom for these two. But at the end of the day, if there's no emotional connection, if there's no, you know, ability to have that long-term trust and partnership, then the King of Cups is like, I think it's probably time for me to leave. I think I need to like be honest with myself that I want something more than that. This is A Gamer's Ways, and then we got to start on personal questions. What else do we have? The Cleric. The Cleric is a healer who taps into the energy of spirit guides and angels. So engaged with spirit, they're often perceived to be aloof by others. Having a cleric in your party grants divine favor. So this would be someone who's probably quite empathic or in tune, grounded, but also probably seen as a little bit weird, a little bit different, right? I feel like that's the King of Cups. They're ready to embark on a new adventure and they have the ability to envision how things could go. Whereas most people are like, meh, I made my decision. I guess I have to stay here. Free for all. It seems there's some disagreement on what the party's goals are during this venture. Everybody wants something different, and there's concern as to whether or not this cooperative effort can be successfully cooperative. So if you want to be in a monogamous relationship and the person you're dating wants to be in an open relationship, you're kind of at odds with each other, right? That's what this feels like to me. Leaderboard. Making the leaderboard means you're now highly visible. People might be talking about your achievements and recent rise to success. It's healthy to celebrate our wins, so take a second to do so. You look really cool right now. The thing is, you're going to end up breaking up or leaving this person, starting a new chapter, building a new foundation in your life, finding a new place to live, right? And there's going to be success for you. We have the Nine of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles. Things improve in your financial district because you're not dealing with this person who doesn't like to, manage their own problems. So just keep in mind that when you are on that leaderboard, when people see that you are doing well, that can attract some not so great folks. And also a little bit of jealousy or some anger from this person from your past. So I guess what I'm saying is we don't need to be bragging too much. Celebrate your wins, but some people don't really need to know. All right, let's switch to personal questions. What are we going to use? We shall go for the Witch's Tarot. Ooh, sorry. Let's see what we've got for Lee. Hello, Baby Yoda. Yes, I like that, Sophia. What do we have for Lee? Eight of Cups. Oops. Nine of Wands in the reverse. Seven of Cups in the reverse. And the Prince of Swords, or the Knight of Swords. There's someone here who says something that gives away the plot. Someone who says something that they feel is not going to give away what is going on, but it's the subcontext that really makes it clear, right? I'm trying to think of a good example. Kind of struggling. If you speak too soon before you really think about what you're saying, and especially if you're perhaps given to be a little bit overly confident about your skills and dishonesty, then you might say something and be kind of like pleased with yourself, like, yeah, that's right, that's what I said. But then like 10 minutes later, this person thinks about it and they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Oops. So trying to cover up what really happened or make it seem like they did the right thing when they didn't, but their words will undermine them anyways. Hello, ECI, how are you doing? Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. So your intuition regarding this is pretty spot on. It's basically saying you don't have to do anything because this person's going to misspeak. This person's going to be overly confident that they've got people right where they want them. And here's what I'm saying. And everybody's, believing everything that I say. The problem is they ruin it like right at the finish line. So the way that I'm seeing it in my mind, because it does happen, is whenever I'm recording shorts, which I did earlier today, I think I do pretty well not having to reshoot things or re-record them. But there are a couple of times where I will get all the way to the end of a short that I'm recording and then really like mess up a word or I don't know, just like trip over myself, right? And then I have to like redo it. That's frustrating after it's like a minute long, but this is like I'm telling a whole speech or a whole story and everybody's believing me. And then in the final minutes, the final seconds, I say something that undermines the whole thing that makes it clear I've been lying or makes it clear that I don't know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, wasted time and basically calling themselves out for not knowing what they're saying. So, yeah. Hello, Erin. How are you doing? Third eye, I recommend cheese. Cheese solves most problems. Yep. All right, I'm gonna leave it there, y'all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you're able to.